The One Piece! The One Piece is real!
Can we get much higher? So high.
It's a great day here at the KEKCast. I am your host, the KEKFILA, aka Sage, and today brought to me, I have Joey Boy 69, also known as Heart Pirates. How you doing?
What's up, man? I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure, man. I'm happy to have you on. I had my last podcast with the Strongest Wizard, and I saw you made a comment on there. My two favorite YouTubers in the same video.
Said some of my favorites. I don't want
the favorite.
I have some other people that I love too.
Yeah.
You know, Raizu the Squirrel, Small Hat Crew. You know, people like that.
Yeah, I'm sure we need to get VV Theory in here as well.
Yeah, VV Theory too. Yeah.
But if people don't know you, I do want to just introduce you a bit and get to know you. The main thing is that he does have like a YouTube channel that's been growing for One Piece quite well, and he's just having a good time playing One Piece. And your first name is Joey, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure if it was like some alias, you know. So 'cause Joey Boy, I think is like a YouTube, like a Yu-Gi-Oh like meme a little bit.
You know, that's funny because a lot of people did call me like Joey or Joe when I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, is that an alien?" Yeah, people asked that too. Actually,
did you play like Red Eyes and shit? Is that
no? This is my name is Joey. And one time I was at a party when I was like 18, and I was talking to this girl. I introduced myself. She goes, "Oh, like Joey Mozzarella." I was like, "Yeah, sure, Joey Mozzarella." I mean, she was hot, so I was like, "Whatever."
What does that mean?
But like,
Joey
I don't
Mozzarella
know.
from?
I don't know, but
Okay.
I was gonna. I mean, I was young and stupid, so
Yeah.
like I've gone by many different nicknames.
Tell us what Joey he should be and who he should go by. And if
Let us
Joey
know in the comments
Mozzarella,
below.
is that a good way to get some Riz? Joey Mozzarella with the Riz. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Well, let's just jump into it. I did want to ask you just a bit about yourself. Who are you outside of, I guess, card games, or maybe before card games? Like, what do you do for fun, I suppose?
Yeah. So before this, I've always liked video games. Obviously, who doesn't like video games in our generation? But I grew up with 7 brothers and sisters. I was the second youngest. I played a lot of like Halo, Gears of War. Getting banned on Xbox Live, that type of shit. Oh, I'm sorry. Can we curse on here or no?
Yeah, we're fine.
Oh, okay, cool. That type of shit right there. And then for the past 5 years, I was in the military. I was in the army, and I had a different YouTube channel before this. I did like kind of like game reviews and just random stuff. And what I like to do, I like to play basketball. I'm a big basketball fan. Football, ultimate frisbee. I'm a big sports guy. I live in Jacksonville, Florida, so big Jaguars fan. Let's see. I like to hang out with my dog. Oh, he's not behind me anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a massive like Newfoundland. He's like 130-pound baby, and he's a little cuddle bear.
Cool, yeah. And then Jacksonville, Florida. Have you always been in Florida area?
Yeah, until I was in the military. Yeah. So for most of my adult, I'm 25. So for 19 of my 25 years, I've been here.
Okay, God, that makes sense. Okay, that's cool. With the military, I guess you joined the military. There's a lot of people that join the military, I feel like, but
It was such a stupid idea.
Was that when you were 18?
It was when I was 19.
Mhm.
I'm bipolar 1, and I make decisions without really thinking them through based on how I'm feeling. And I woke up one day and I was like, I'm gonna join the military. So I called the nearest recruiter, and literally like 2 weeks later I was in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. And about 2 months after that I realized I made a huge mistake. But I couldn't get out of it, obviously. So
I don't know how that works, of getting in or out of it, or you have to wait a certain time and do your dues. Because it's obviously
you have a contract.
Yeah, it's almost like a crime to just leave, right? So or it
yeah.
is a crime.
Yeah, it is.
Jail.
Yeah, deserting. Yeah, you can go to prison.
Pretty wild, but I guess the world has to turn somehow, I suppose. Thanks for sticking it out. Thank you for your service. 07.
I hated it. So, appreciate you. Pleasure to serve.
07. So okay, yeah, but you do like yours. Do you play like any video games like right now besides just doing One Piece Sim or?
Yeah, so I've been playing a lot of The Witcher 3 remastered recently. That's like one of my favorite games ever, so I've just been replaying that. New World, I'm big into MMORPGs, so New World has an expansion coming out in a couple weeks. So I've been just kind of like grinding that.
Oh yeah, I remember when
Yeah.
New World got really big. I didn't play it. A lot of my guilds from World of Warcraft played it. You know.
Yeah.
Have you-
I mean, it had its problems, but
Yeah.
it was
Have
fun.
you touched World of Warcraft hardcore?
No, I haven't touched WoW since like I had when we were in quarantine with my army friends. We had like a 2-week binge of like RuneScape and WoW, but that kind of like WoW kind of fell by the wayside pretty quickly. I actually don't like WoW, which is crazy.
Well, there's a lot of things not to like about WoW. There's plus and minuses, right? But right now I'm having a blast with my guild. I have this large guild on this server that does a lot of things. And hardcore, if you people who don't know what hardcore is, if your character dies, you have to delete your character. And this is an actual official server. So it's not like some make-believe thing. So it actually took the worst part of WoW, which was leveling, and made it the best part of WoW because you had to do so much in order to actually level.
It was so hard. It was so hard.
Min-max it. So so it's really fun with friends. I find hardcore, and even if your character dies, it's like a
problem.
Rush.
That's my problem is like I never really had any friends that like played WoW. Like we were all RuneScape boys back in the day because we were poor and you know couldn't afford like $7, $8 a month. But also like man, it's just like I hate to be that guy, but WoW just feels so clunky and old. It's just not for me, man.
MMO. It is an older MMO. It's not the oldest one, right? As far as gameplay, but it for some reason like for some reason it has this crack addicting thing about just making a new character. So, but the thing is, regarding the community thing, if you need a community for that, I got one. Okay, if you're like, hey, I just want to like delve in here for 15 minutes, I got a second account you can fuck around with for 5 minutes. Okay, it's okay. It doesn't. You can maybe just watch videos on YouTube because it is kind of interesting to get into, even though it's just an MMO, like the same thing. It's been out for 20 years, but for some reason, being on One Life adds another thrill to it that is both rewarding and frustrating at the same time. So
yeah, I watch Asmongold. He's like one of my favorite people to watch, and I've probably seen more WoW content than from him. Yeah, just from him. Like I don't play the game, but like I know what's going on with WoW all the time because like he's like my like parasocial like best friend. Like every time I'm like editing videos or like making thumbnails or literally just doing anything, like I have like something on in the background. It's usually Asmon because he posts 1,000 videos a day. So I know about WoW. I wasn't a huge fan of the gameplay. If they ever make like a completely remastered version with like new graphics and like just doesn't feel so clunky to me, I would definitely give it a shot.
What's the clunky? I don't understand the clunky part because the game is pretty fluid. I find it's just it's very cartoony, and you kind of have to use your imagination to fill in the lines a little bit.
Yeah. So by clunky, I mean it just feels like. So I always play like spellcasters, and like I don't like. And I have a good computer too, so I don't think it's my computer's issue. But whenever I'm like casting spells, I don't like standing in place casting spells. I don't like that. I've never liked that. But two, like I don't like how there's like it just looks old, and then like whenever you're playing, like when you're jumping around, it just feels like the animation is kind of like off. I don't know. It just feels like they keep like updating a game that was built on the foundation of cards. And like at any given second, the foundation of cards is gonna like crumble, and the game is gonna like collapse.
I guess
that's how it feels now. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But that's just how I feel personally.
Yeah, because right now with this, it's never like what it is. It's kind of like the journey, because that's all this hardcore thing is. Because they always say, oh, it's the destination, not the journey, or the journey is the destination, right? Either way.
Yeah.
Because usually like One Piece, really. In WoW, because in WoW, it's about the end, right? It's usually about the end game. Right.
Yep.
But
well,
this
that's all MMOs,
in hardcore is not like that. It's actually just getting to max level. Generally, that's why it's different. But it's fine, right? People, I don't play games for fucking reasons. I never play Touch New World. Usually, I'm sure you're busy. But if you're ever like, hey, I'm bored, and you need something, just play this horde characters and then figure it out. And then, trust me, you'll die. You'll get frustrated and be like, well, that was kind of fun. we go again. The thing is, it's not fun unless you have other people, and there's like huge. There's like always 50 plus people on. This guy, he always logs in and gives everybody like bags and stuff, so you're like not like like alone, right? Really, but okay. Yeah, well, convinced, done. With that, we'll jump into card games. So you said you played Yu-Gi-Oh before. Did you play any other card games, or what was your history with Yu-Gi-Oh? Or
so I didn't grow up very like wealthy at all. Like I struggled a lot, so I never really played Yu-Gi-Oh competitively until it got like way out of hand. And at that point, I was like, I don't even want to play Yu-Gi-Oh anymore. So I never really like dived into it. But you know, on and off played Yu-Gi-Oh for like 11, 12 years. I did play Hearthstone a lot, and I was really good at Hearthstone. Like I was definitely in like the top like 1,000-ish players in NA. So I played Hearthstone a lot, and then stopped playing Hearthstone for, I don't remember why I stopped playing Hearthstone. But I've always liked Hearthstone, actually. I played a little bit of Pokemon. In this one format, we did this thing called like Shaman Toolbox or something, where you would like basically like you would just like retreat your characters to your bench and then bring out a character that their character can't KO because it's like resistant to it. And like you just do it like the entire game. It was super fun, and people like couldn't fucking stand it. But yeah, that's kind of like my extent with that. And then obviously One Piece now too, which you know I've been enjoying more than all the other ones.
How did you hear about the One Piece TCG?
Funny you asked that, actually. So I didn't hear about One Piece TCG, and my brother, like, he told me about it like maybe like a week after it came out. And I was like, oh yeah, like I'll definitely check it out. Yeah, in December, like of set 1.
God,
and I was like, yeah, I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. And I never got around to it, right? So we're Christmas Eve, we're shopping in Christmas Eve, and we're at Target, and we're at like the busiest Target like in the city, basically. And we look at the cards, and it's like we have like there's like red decks, there's like literally all 4 of the starter decks, and there's like multiple of them.
I'm shocked.
I know. So we're not thinking at the time. I was like, yeah, I'll get like one of like the crocodile one, I'll get one of the Animal Kingdom ones, and then like that's it, right? And my other friend got like 1 or 2 as well. But there was like 10 there. So like we could have gotten like a bunch of them, dude. And like after that, we're looking around the city for structure decks, and literally not a single place had it for months. So yeah, and then from there we just kind of started deck building. I started out with a red green Luffy. I was like, this deck sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we bought a couple boxes too.
Early One Piece was really, really unique. So you weren't in there for the super pre-release format, which is just trial decks. Which don't worry about it. Okay, it was definitely a different time. And then set 1 early on, yeah, it was definitely there was nothing on shelves. Like me and my girlfriend, we go like every Friday to like the Targets and stuff. I have a thing in my Discord. I have a Utah Discord that I made, and it's called treasure. It's called treasure hunting. And if you find, packs, or if you find trial decks, you can post it there. Hey, I found it here. Don't look here. I bought them all. Or there's still more here. Go ahead and buy them. At this point, it doesn't matter anymore because there's like so much product on the shelves. But at the time, that was pretty sick because people were tired of driving around everywhere. And there'd be sometimes I'd like leave a Target and someone's about to go in, and I'm like, there's nothing in there, and they're like, oh dang it. Like I'd see
that's funny you say that. Do you like the scarcity? Did you like the scarcity, like the treasure hunting? Oh, am I gonna find the pack? Am I gonna find some?
No, I think
I
think I was just bored. I think there was a little bit of fun of it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the reason why I didn't like it, the biggest con, is that it was just the complainers, right?
Yeah,
people were still able to play the game, but the problem was these collectors didn't have their high rarity cards, and the only way they can get them is by pulling boxes. But it was also really funny. On every Friday, I would be watching TCG Player all the time, and they would be getting the prices would go up on Fridays, like insane. They'd just be like a buyout of like high rarity cards. And you'd be like, okay, well, I guess this card's now a $200 card. I guess that makes sense because they just got bought out because someone just decided to spend all their money on TCG Player. So
so similar story to you, actually. So we did the same thing with our Discord. And one time I was at work, and I went on lunch break, and there's a Target like 2 minutes from my job, and I'm walking in there, and a guy that lives in like a way different side of town that I worked at, like probably like a 40-minute drive, was at the Walmart looking at the cards. I'm sorry, not Walmart, Target. Was at the Target looking at the card section. I was like, what are you doing here? Like, that is such a, he's like, I'm looking for structure decks. It was like the furthest you could drive to get a structure deck. He was just hunting for him.
Yeah. And the thing is, sometimes it is like a little treasure. There was definitely one Target near me that I've plussed off of a little bit. I mean, I basically just sold it to a friend for like a good price, right? But yeah,
I've like never plussed off buying packs. I suck at
no, I suck at pulling packs, dude. I'm the fucking worst. You know, it's really funny. There's like a hidden secret when you go to like locals and you win a local. You actually never pull fucking anything. But if you lose a local, you get like 1 or 2 packs, you pull gas, man. I think I got a bye in like 2 losses. I played like the worst deck ever a couple weeks ago. I played Kuro for no reason. And I pulled 2 alts out of my 2 packs. And I'm like, dead box, guys. So, sorry.
First tournament that we did of set 4 was on Wednesday.
Okay.
And I played Cat because I didn't have all the cards I needed yet for Blurple Croc. So I played Cat. I ended up getting like bubbled out of second, like even though I lost in the finals, which is stupid. Yeah. And I got my friend who got 4th place got 1 pack, and it was the Sakazuki, or not Sakazuki. It was the Newgate. And I was like, dude, like if you lose tournaments, you will always pull better than the people that win tournaments. Yeah. You know, like of the 25, 30 tournaments I've won at locals in set 3, I think I pulled $50 worth of cards.
Yeah. I think most stores too, they at least give a pack per person now, no matter what, like a participation pack. And
ours don't.
Well, yeah, ours do now, but I guess they just have so many packs. They're just it's pretty gas. But
it's nice, yeah.
Nice. But like I'm pretty sure I've gotten a pity pack better cards I've ever like when I'm winning a tournament. So yeah, it's it's guaranteed. So that's what happened with set 1. I mean, I guess you pretty much did you just go to like find somebody? Did your brother like go to a locals? How did you find out about your local scene?
Well, because I mean, obviously I come from a Yu-Gi-Oh background. I know there's like tournaments and stuff. But my brother actually like stopped playing like at the end of like set 1 pretty much, and I like continued to play. So like he got me into it, and I'm like way more competitive than he like ever has been. But yeah, so there's like 5 different card shops in Jacksonville that just do it. So you know, I go to probably 3 a week.
Okay.
Yeah. So nothing crazy.
3+ a week. Got it. I mean, nothing too crazy. I mean, in Florida, you can go to like 7 or maybe even 8 a week if you travel far enough. So. Yeah,
like the only day we don't have one right now is Monday.
Okay.
But some of the competition isn't the greatest in some of the places that I don't go to. So I just don't go there.
It just depends on the shop and the people.
Yeah, it's like just because like some are like Jacksonville's a big city, so like there's like it's like a 40-minute drive to some of these places, and like the players that aren't the most experienced go to some of these places. And like when I play in tournaments, I want to like practice against like, you know, like for regionals and stuff. So I try to go to the most competitive of locals that we have here.
Okay, that's pretty good. And I mean, I guess you're playing a lot of things, but right now you're a little bit on blue purple croc, right, for set 4.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just until I'll win a couple tournaments with it and then switch to something else. That's usually what I do.
Do you have anything in particular you have in mind for that?
For what?
I don't know, like the next deck, or the main reason I even asked that, I do a lot of coaching. But I don't do any coaching, by the way, but I do a lot of things with Will, and the most requested deck is probably Croc, Blue Croc, and Rebecca, and we do a lot of individual coachings with that. No one is ever really asking coaching with Katakuri, but then there is like
how do I play
some
Big
Queen, and then the biggest thing is knowing what's good. And I think, you know, strictly Whitebeard is just, especially if you're like a novice player, even if you're like the best player of all time, Whitebeard's just good, right?
Yeah, I think if you're learning the game, I think Cat is probably the easiest to learn with, but Whitebeard definitely has the highest floor, in my opinion.
Yeah, let's actually talk about the restriction list real quick. So the restriction list, if you guys don't know, they restricted Radbeam, Ninebeard and 4-cost Marco to 1 of, right? Back a few months ago, and they said we may unrestrict it to set 4. A lot of people during set 3, they were like, they're gonna unrestrict it, and you're wrong if you think they're not going to. I had people like,
I love those
like,
people.
They were very like almost. I wouldn't say they're angry, but they're very determined against me. Very like if I argued against it, they probably would like get maybe barely upset. They'd just say, "No, you're wrong. Like you're stupid and you're wrong." I'd be like, "Well,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say you're dumb, but if they do that, I'd be very sad. If they unrestricted it, I would be very sad about this game right now."
Oh yeah. So I agreed with you. I was like, there's no way they're bringing that back, especially with like red green Luffy or red purple Luffy coming out. There's just no way, right?
Well, Whitebeard,
but yeah, people love to call you stupid in comments too. Like people, not you in particular, but like I've had people that like comment on my videos like, you are so trash, like you are just a dog. Dude, I'm not afraid to clap back. I'm like, dude, like shut the fuck up. Like you must have no life to like comment on like random people's videos like you're trash. Like,
well,
I don't know. Like
I haven't been
really
saying that on a video, but just on my locals, people ask me my opinion. Do you think they're going to unrestrict it? And I'm like, no. And then someone else chimes in, they're going to unrestrict it. If they don't do it, they're bad, and you're bad for thinking so. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't
Why
actually
would
go that.
they
They don't go that hard. Okay, I'm exaggerating how upset they are. Right? They're just usually just like, no, I'm pretty sure that's a bad take thing. They're not going to unrestrict it. I think it's a money thing.
Why would they restrict it or unrestrict it though? Is the question, right? Because the only argument is because of the prizing. You know, you get like the new Marco, you get the new like all that. That's the only argument for it.
That's one of the few reasons, I suppose.
Yeah,
people already have invested alt arts. They think they're going to bring that back. They're kind of banking on it. Right.
The thing is though, like the deck is just like inherently just really good, and for the new set to sell, they want to start making other strategies more viable. So why would they print set 4 and set 2's deck still be the best? It just doesn't make any sense business wise.
Well, you're right, but the same way it is a good idea to maybe keep some old product very viable, right?
Yeah, it's still viable. It's just not broken.
Now, and I think there is a lot of good first and second set that are still valuable to like buy that product. But oh my god, dude, set fucking 2. Whitebeard, this card needs to get banned because trust me, you're gonna go to your locals. You probably won't see it because everyone's playing everything else. But you go to a very competitive tournament. You're gonna see these tournaments. Whitebeard is going to win. It's gonna probably be like 7 out of 6 top 16, based off of just not even just popularity, but just how good it is against everything. And I
don't understand how it's popular though, to be honest with you. I really don't understand how Whitebeard is. Well, yeah, I get that. But like, I don't understand. I obviously understand like the competitive nature, but I just don't get people that have been playing like the same like deck for like 3 formats in a row. Like, how do you have fun with that? Like, I really just don't get it. I do think Whitebeard should be banned though. I think it is just inherently just too good at what it does. But yeah, I totally get what you mean. Popularity as in it's good, yes. I don't understand how people like continue to play this deck other than just for like winning tournaments or whatever.
And trust me, I just to say this too, if you play Whitebeard out there, right? If you play Whitebeard, you're fine. You're just trying to play the game. We're all playing the same game. People are going to do bullshit strategy versus you versus that. Yeah. However, right, I'm not saying you're playing an easy deck because it is you can make a few more mistakes and still win. It doesn't mean it's auto win. Trust me, I've played Whitebeard players and I've still won, and it just depends. But high skill players, if I almost feel like at this point it needs to come down to like there needs to be like a tournament where everyone's just playing Whitebeard in order to get Whitebeard banned, because it's just so strong, especially against
I agree.
What else is strong? Because I guess the thing is right now there's actually another opinion that's going around, and even Eggman even tweeted this because someone else tweeted it. And I think he commented on it. It has to do with 10-drop Big Mom. And, you know, I've never really... People have been always arguing about 10-drop Big Mom being restricted or banned.
I can see it.
I've never... I don't play decks that do too poorly into Mom. I have a strategy to always play against that, especially Blue Devil Flamingo. I had a pure strategy in order to beat this deck. But I can understand it. It's... If you have a late game deck, you just cannot beat Mom. It is the ultimate late game deck, unless your deck does bullshit, right? Unless your deck has like queen bullshit, then you can maybe compete with that.
Yeah. So no, I agree. So the thing about 10 cost Big Mom is like, or the thing about some of these cards in general, or like some leaders, is like it fosters a meta that like you have to like play certain decks, right? So for example, like Nami, Nami existing makes the meta like you have to play fast decks because Nami can now just red rock like your like whatever big card you have and then just deck itself out. So any slow deck just like loses to Nami. So now people have to play fast decks. However, like when you're playing like decks like when you're playing fast decks, sometimes like if a deck that like Rebecca, if a deck like Rebecca that beats Zoro and Law
playing really slow, yeah.
Exactly. Like if that is the new deck, then like it fosters a meta that is controlled by that particular deck, if that makes sense. So like just them existing like won't let other decks like have any viability.
Yeah,
I'm hoping I'm saying that right.
No, you're right. Yeah, and then basically you're kind of incentivized to play the most consistent deck that is fast in order to beat decks that are really slow and decks that are really good against really even fast decks. Which the thing is, I guess the main thing is like, a lot of people playing Whitebeard. People play Rebecca into Whitebeard because it's actually a good matchup for Rebecca. They have a strategy.
Absolutely.
But the thing is, Whitebeard, it still requires Rebecca to draw well and and not brick, essentially. And Whitebeard can still win that matchup if they
Whitebeard
play
can brick
right.
and literally win the game.
Yeah.
I have not seen a Whitebeard like I haven't seen a Whitebeard ever like really brick either, though, to be honest with you.
Well,
like completely.
There's different levels of bricking for Whitebeard and what they need to do. And it's I mean, everything's always matchup based, right? Like the player needs to know how to play against a matchup. I'll give you an example. I'm playing Queen against Whitebeard. It's not actually a great matchup for me. However, if a Whitebeard doesn't know to mulligan just to get rushers, because I can just remove their 4 costs and 6 costs like pretty easily.
Yeah.
If they just play Luffy's and aces and then play Sanji just to like for the extra like 7k swing at me, then it's pretty frustrating for me. Then I just fall behind and my hand gets bricked up because I play 109 drops, right? And then I just lose based off of that, and I wasn't able to get to even like 12 like my 10 Dawn and so on turn.
Yeah, you're not able to get like 3 9 drops out and then a couple blockers.
But it makes sense
much.
The way the deck's designed, right? The deck's designed to have to win the game a little faster in order not to like lose because they go down to 0 life.
Yeah, it's the problem is it's just too consistent and good. It's just too good and too consistent, and it can beat just by it existing, it can beat like a variety of decks. And same, and I forgot to mention it, but same with Big Mom. 10 cost Big Mom, just by that existing, it like it like murders like 4 cost decks.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it cannot beat Whitebeard. That's the thing. It doesn't do very well into Whitebeard Big Mom.
I think Katakuri with the new vanillas is better into Whitebeard than it ever has been.
You're right. It did get better.
Yeah, with Randolph and Paris Barrow. It's still obviously not like probably it's probably not favored, but it's probably closer, 45, 55 than it was like 70-30,
Well, there is like another issue is that a lot of people play Chopper now. Getting rid of Chopper is actually really hard. I guess Yellow has a lot more options now that I think about it. But
we have the Struzen and the new Amande or whatever her name is.
The big thing here, even those big cards, as long as Whitebeard's able to stabilize a little bit, and then when those cards are rested, they just ace them. Ace is just a hell of a card when anything's rested, and you can't really play a Big Mom in this. You can't play it down. It's not really going to do a lot for you because it's never going to burn a life, right? That's
almost never, unless they drop Whitebeard, which most of them don't ever play Whitebeard in that matchup.
Exactly. A lot of people have some. It's really funny. I never see anyone actually play down a Whitebeard ever.
Really?
Yeah. I guess I don't see it anymore. I like that I don't have to worry about it anymore. But it makes a lot of really smart Whitebeard players like really stand out because they'll just take if you swing 6k at their face, they'll just take it, and you're like, wait a minute, this guy's a genius. He knows not to counter out. Yeah. I try to make it like easy enough. Okay, I'm missing 7. I want him to give me a 2k, please. He just takes it. I'm like, you son of a bitch. You knew what to do. So
And then anytime they play a card, like you're gonna have to get rid of it by giving them an extra life, pretty much by like Katakuri or
Mhm.
like something like that. And
Yeah.
by the time you're able to play Big Mom, they don't have any life.
Yeah.
And then I was gonna say something. I forgot what I was gonna
Sorry.
say. Ah, dang it, dude! I always do this.
What was it
man.
about? Maybe I know I interrupted you.
Ah,
So
no, I don't remember
it's
honestly.
okay. Well,
I don't remember.
Katakuri into Whitebeard. Yeah, these big vanilla cards. I always say if you have to play big vanilla cards to make your deck viable, maybe the deck had a problem to begin with. I had to do that with Blurple Croc back in the day when Babanuki
Yeah.
was my best card. I'm like, oh
But
yeah, dude,
yeah.
Babanuki's my best card. It's how I win games.
And I tried set 2 with the 6/8 Mihawk, and I was like, this is gonna change everything. It never did.
Never did.
It never did one time.
Did that come out in set 3? That card?
No, the Mihawk came out in set 2.
The
The
6/8?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, dude, I've been playing this game. This game's old now. This game's
I know.
This game came. I played it a year ago. A year ago in pre-release format.
Wow.
That's super
The
pre-release.
super pre-release.
Yeah, super pre-release. My
Nice,
brother dragged me to a card store and had me buy 4 trial decks, all the trial decks I could for him, so he could keep them and resell them for like 10 times the cost. I was like, God damn it,
Bro, it's crazy the price of those. Honestly, I would think they would go up. To be honest with you, I really think they might go up. You know, in 10 years, the super pre-release decks with like the winner Luffy, and then like a serial Luffy. I mean, you sell those as a collector's piece, you can make 10 grand easy.
Good
probably.
segue. If you're in the need of some shiny cards, I have some for sale. Okay, please buy. So, have you?
Help them out.
So I had a question. I know they did the national invite, so everyone's invited to nationals, right? Did you already have like a national invite yet, or?
No, not yet. I haven't played in a lot of regionals. I've only played in I think 1, maybe 2.
Not a lot of opportunities unless you get online. So
yeah, I wasn't able, like early on. I quit back in set 2 because I really just didn't like the format. And then set 1, I should have, dude. Honestly, I could have gotten my invite back in set 1 with playing Kid, but I never played him in a big tournament. I played him at a case tournament, and I was playing against people that were like top 8. You know, top 4 at like treasure cups and regionals, and I was beating them. So like I could have gotten it back then, but I haven't been able to get it yet.
It's hard to travel for that kind of stuff. So
yeah, especially because like obviously I have a job that like sometime at that point I had a job that I worked weekends a lot. So just getting off for that time, and it was just hard.
Thinking
especially
about
money.
going to nationals if you can get in there.
Sorry, I know that was your question.
Yeah.
I would like to. I'd like to go to every big tournament I can. The problem is just like it's expensive. So
yeah, well, it's California, right? And that's what the hell's going on there? California, end of January. I still have to get my rooms and stuff. I don't know if my girlfriend's family's going. My girlfriend's gonna go because it's in Anaheim, so she wants to make a Disneyland little extravaganza out of it too. So
yeah,
that'll
give her
be
something to do.
That'll be a fun little weekend. Yeah, because she's not really interested into the card game. She likes the cards. She doesn't like. Yeah, she just started watching the live action too, and so she's like, "Oh, this is actually pretty cool. I like this show." So, you play your card game based off of this? Yeah, and I make all my videos and my podcasts, and
it's crazy. It's like it's a whole ecosystem.
It's a whole ecosystem, right? So
my friend I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh with brought his girlfriend to locals one time, and like after round 2, he goes, "I made the biggest misplay of the tournament. I brought my girlfriend to locals." Because she was just like, bro, she was just sitting in a corner looking so bored, and it was like,
that's what it is.
It was a miserable
My girlfriend's
sight.
never came to locals, but I tell her you can always. I mean, she never goes. It's not a big deal, so you don't have to go. But hey, I could show you how to play the game. But she's not. She's not interested in that right now. So, respectably.
Yeah, I mean, I would never force them to go. In fact, I'd want them not to go because like I don't want to like feel bad. Like I'm talking to my friends and like having a good time, and they're over there like scrolling through TikTok or something. I just go home.
No,
go home.
You're right. Yeah, especially if you drove together, that's super weird. So
yeah,
I've
like trapped there.
Small side story. I had this guy. He came in with his new girlfriend, right, to the locals, and I'm like, oh, this guy's gonna come. This is a different card game, Vanguard. So he came into the locals, and he asked me if I wanted to go on a double date, but I was just kind of ignoring him. in a way because I didn't want to go to double date with him and his girlfriend. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm a little busy. I'm like really, I'm way too busy, man. He's like,
What's wrong with double
okay.
dates, man?
Yeah, I was like, as I'm at a card store playing a card game, like it kind of sucks. Yeah, I'm too busy, dude. I guess because I didn't have too much time in my hands. I had lots of time in my hands.
Oh
So,
yeah, lots of time.
just
Yeah,
what
yeah.
it is. So sometimes you have those moments. I'm sure you guys will notice that, right? Especially when they're like, you know what this person's gonna say every moment. You know, they come in, they they have a catchphrase. You ever
Who?
you ever have like someone they come in every time they come in, they always say the same thing, like "Sup, nerds." Like this guy always said that, and so
I'm not gonna say it because in case they watch this video, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
So I know
That is so funny.
This guy always did that, and so I said before he came in, "Oh, I bet you when he's gonna come in, he's gonna say sup nerds like some NPC." So he came in and said that. Everyone busted out laughing so fucking hard, like thinking this guy was the funniest guy. He was so happy. So
Hey, if there's anyone that's listening to this that's in Jacksonville locals, you guys know exactly who we're talking about, bro. There is someone like that here too. That's funny.
Did they say exactly that too? Like,
They don't say that, but they say, I don't want to say it.
It's cringe, okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah, you're in a cringe competition and your opponent is KEKFILA. Okay, so I had that meme.
No.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Okay, and then let's actually jump into content creation. Your YouTube has been blowing up for like forever. I mean, why? I wanted to ask why HeartPiratesTCG as first of all the name, and what I haven't jumped into your old content when you first started making videos. Go ahead, just before.
Oh yeah, sorry, I wanted you to finish. My bad. Well, so I like law. Obviously, I got the tattoo and all that. Someone commented on my video one time saying my law tattoo is upside down. I was like, how the fuck can it be upside down? So I'm sorry, that's just something funny that I thought of. But yeah, I like law. And I don't know. I don't know why I really came up with the name. I'm obviously a big Pirates guy.
I'm wondering if he meant like your finger tattoos because your camera's reversed or something.
Yeah.
So your camera's reversed.
Well, I've already said like why. So I have this in like a bunch of videos, but like it says peace on it, but I pointed it outwards for like because I am trying to be a better, more relaxed person. So like I want to kind of like use it as like a message. Like when people see it, be like, okay, peace. Like not just like peace isn't like no violence, but like your inner peace. So like it's not just for me, it's like for other people, in fact. So like that's why I have it facing you and not me, you know, as like a reminder for everyone. It's like a weird thing, I know. But yeah, I don't know why I got the name. I like law and it seemed like a cool little name, I guess. But my first video ever was actually the Blurple Croc video. And that's how I got my start. And it's been just kind of going off since there.
I remember there was this blue purple croc in PPG like really early on with this like hand destruction list. Do you remember that?
Yeah, with the jacks and everything. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Jacks, X-Drake.
I don't know.
I remember that.
Was your deck list kind of like that, or was it played very different?
No, I actually did not. I think I said in the video I did not like that deck list at all.
I didn't like jacks either. I played it.
Yeah, it was just super vulnerable and like slow. I played I think I played like just like Rush Kaido and like I don't know, like stuff like I don't remember exactly what I played.
10 drop Kaido, and I did that early on. I played 10 drop.
I did do that. I did do that in a tournament against my brother. I'd played 10 drop. He goes, "That card is broken."
Yeah,
I couldn't even use it.
Yeah, I did the exact.
I didn't know
thing.
that though.
Some guy did that against me playing Blurple Croc. I'm like, dude, why don't I play that in my Blurple Croc deck? So I did that. I think another local. I faced him. We both 10 drop Kaido each other, just doing the most. And then like maybe a few days after, another friend said, "Hey, you can't do that." I'm like, "Oh, You're right. Oh god, dude. I was gonna
Card
go
game
to
players cannot read, bro.
I was gonna go to
to
Las Vegas in that tournament and bring that and everything. Just
yeah,
totally do that.
the secret sauce.
Yeah, no, I was like, dude, I gotta keep this under wraps. I'm not making a single video about this bullshit. Why is no one playing this card?
It's funny because I was saying the same shit. I was like, why is nobody playing 10-drop Kaido? That card is broken.
Yeah, there's a reason why. You can only play it in leaders that are kind of meh,
Yeah,
So,
literally.
I would say blue-purple Kaido isn't too bad, especially with this ulti.
Like
this ulti combo? Ulti is such a good card. I thought this was like a set 5 card with how good it is. Do you know what ulti does?
You're talking about the ulti page 1 combo?
So ulti, no, it's a blue card. What ulti does is ulti on attack
Bottom deck's a 2, right?
It can bottom deck a 1 cost or a 2 cost, or it can pick up I think that 2 or lows. It can also pick up a card.
I don't think it can bounce, can it?
You can bounce one of your own cards. Yeah, you can bounce your own who's who.
I didn't know that. I thought it just bottom deck.
No, you can choose the bottom deck or bounce. Because you can bounce your own card to your hand.
Okay.
So, but
cool.
people
so
do
you can bounce your own who's who.
Yeah, you can play a who's who and bounce your own who's who. It's actually pretty juice, dude. The creative I know you're like thinking now, ooh, shit.
Literally, it's like flowing.
Yeah.
So I actually have a Blurple Kaido list that I've been working on a lot that I think is really fun. I think it's pretty good too. If you can obviously it plays Oni. It just super ramps for the first 2 turns until you're at 9 Dawn. And then you just play Mihawk into Rush Kaido, and it's there's no beating that right there. So that's kind of the point of the deck, but I think Blurple Kaido is really fun too.
Yeah.
I actually have a match coming out, Blurple Croc versus Blurple Kaido.
Nice. I do think too with Blurple Kaido and the Susu, you can play 3 Onigashima. You can get away with not playing 4 anymore.
Yeah.
So
and now I do play 4 because that's exactly how my deck that's what I'm trying to do with my deck. But I also play Jet Gatling to get rid of the rest if I have it. If I draw too many.
Jet Gatling, dude, I love these cards. I love these kind of cards. Gum Rain, Jet Gatling.
Yeah.
They don't have one for yellow yet, right? I think it's
they just got one for red. They just got one for red,
which is kind of weird. I don't really know if it makes red. Who's using that? Because people are saying
I saw a Whitebeard list.
I think that's weird.
I saw a Whitebeard.
Don't play that.
I think it's weird too. I think it sucks, but I've seen a couple people try to use it.
The deck's way too tight. It is a Straw Hat though, so it's not the worst. But generally,
I mean, Guard Point and Rad Beam are just bad.
It just makes any card into a 1K counter. It's just a flexible 2K counter.
Would you just use that in place of the Red Hawk?
I think you should play Red Hawk.
Yeah, I was gonna say what would you take out for the kick course? What's it called, kick course?
Yeah, I don't know. You need to play 4 Red Hawk. Red Hawk is broken, especially with all these queens and other Whitebeards going around with these 1K blockers. You need to have some way to remove them. And
Rebecca always has
the
yeah.
You're right. Yeah, I just talked to it's broken. That's super good. Kick course, the trigger is not worth it. And it's kind of an interesting thing. I know you're playing Love Mellow and Blurple Croc. It makes sense in that because you're drawing 2 cards. But Dragon Twister in regular Blue Croc has been really, really good comparative to Love Mellow. And it's kind of weird because you never really get the bottom deck the 1 cost with Dragon Twister. It is actually relevant sometimes.
The trigger's pretty good.
The trigger's broken. That's the thing. People forget how broken triggers are right now. And it's half the game. I love playing Queen. My whole deck is triggers, so
yeah. No, I love trigger. I think Queen is awesome. There's just a lot of I personally don't even play Love in mono Crocodile because I think the deck list is really tight and there's just not a lot of room for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Dragon Twister is an option. I personally wouldn't play it either though. I just don't think there's room. If you're playing 4 Red Rock for 3,000 Worlds, I don't really think there's a reason to
Do people play 3,000 Worlds still?
In some builds you do. I mean, I'm playing I think 2 in mine just because I'm playing Soga Kings and Mihawk, so it kind of clogs, but
because I don't know what your Blue Croc list is like, but the Will to Win one is it's a lot of vanilla cards. We're playing.
Is it the Impel Down one?
No, we don't play a single Impel Down card.
I don't like the Impel Down version.
I liked it for the previous set, not for this set. But it's
Me too.
you're playing 3 cost 5K, so Edward Weevil. You're playing 4/6 Pacifista just for the 4/6 body. You don't have like a engine with that. It's extremely vanilla. And then it's just relying on Mihawks and Kaidos. Like it's actually super simple. It's more of a matchup thing. And so you have to be a smart blue player in order to like beat the matchups where it's like not that fucking fun. So, you know, like Katakuri's not a fun matchup into. Queen's not a fun matchup into. But
Cat murders, Cat murders blue.
Blue Croc, they can play around it if they figure it out. They usually have to go a lot faster. That's why they play all these Edward Weevils and such.
Yeah, so I personally like the Senamaru engine against yellow. I think that's like not the only way, but one of the few ways to like really like, because you always have, because I play I just hit my computer. So I play the blocker Pacifista, which I know a lot of people don't play, but just having that guaranteed blocker every turn to like deal with like 3 of their attacks is just massive, you know? Plus like they have to Katakuri the Senamaru where you're just going to keep getting value. So I like the engine a lot, but I know there is like the Animal Kingdom Pirates version where you are playing like the vanillas, the 5/7 vanilla into the Kaidos.
I'm just not I mean, I don't know about Blurple Croc, but for Blue Croc, I don't. Sentomaru is like off the list for us.
Really?
Yeah, Sentomaru is just not we don't think it's a good card. Yeah. It's too expensive for what it does, and it's too easily removed. And later in the game, you're not using it. It's only used early in the game. And so it's better to have other options. Basically, it's very vanilla. You're literally playing a curve, especially if you go first.
You're playing it like you play Luffy, essentially, right?
You're playing down a 5 cost. You play Zeph just so you can bounce a 3 cost. And then you're playing Soja King, so you can bounce a 6 cost. And then you're playing Mihawk into Kaido. It depends if people don't usually draw that well, to be honest.
Yeah.
Kaido.
How does that beat yellow, though, is my question? Because yellow is going to be very popular. And like if you're playing like no blockers pretty much and just relying on tempo, they have so many cards that just like block out of life and like regain life. It feels like it's just so hard to deal with.
Middle of the game, they have to get more middle range cards that then swing for 7s. It's not, they figured it out a way, but it's not great. It's not a winning matchup. That is the answer, right? It's not a winning matchup. It's really funny too. I read these like things on Twitter. They're like, oh, I played Blue Croc. Here are my matchups. I won all of these. And then people ask, how did you beat this matchup? Like, dude, it's not unwinnable to win any matchup. Like it's not unwinnable. I just played the game, and my opponent
sometimes they don't draw well,
or they don't know what they're doing, and they don't know how to play against my deck. That's actually very common right now. People don't know what they're doing at all, and so
I had at locals. I had 3 people read my leader, my Blurple Croc leader. They're like, "What does this do again?" Yeah, and it doesn't have the once per turn little like tag on it, so like they like read it like 5 times. They're like, "What the hell?" You want to hear what it says?
Wait, that one doesn't have the once per turn on it?
No, it says Dawn 1.
Right?
Yeah, this is before the errata though. It says Dawn 1. When you activate an event, you may draw 1 card if you have 4 or less cards in your hand and haven't drawn a card using its leader's effect this turn.
Oh, that
so it just doesn't have the once per turn on it.
Oh, why don't they just add once per turn?
Because that was before. I think that was before like they wanted to add the once per turn. This is like a very early printing of it.
I see. Yeah. I've
had this card for a long time.
I've definitely seen somebody. There was this guy at locals. That same guy who didn't read his card for 10-drop Kaido. He was playing Blurple Croc.
He's back.
No, that same guy beforehand. This is why I had to like step in and be like a judge for things I didn't want to be a judge for. I'm not a judge, by the way, guys. But if I see something wrong in a game, I'm going to speak up. And this was like a pure example to show him like, oh, Sage wasn't being an asshole. But at the time, it looked like I was being an asshole. And there was another guy who didn't have that same card etiquette. But let me explain the story. He was using that card, but he was drawing off of after every event. So not once per turn. And he was drawing even if there's like 7 cards in hand. So he was he was drawing. He still lost his game, by the way, against like a green kid, against Kid. So he still lost the game. Fine, I'm like, that's broken. He still lost him because he's playing against 8-wall Kid. And so, and I was kind of interrupting, like, hey man, I want to make sure I read the card out for you. No, this is set 1. So obviously it makes sense, so I can read the card to people, and so they're not like misusing it. And I remember another guy's like, dude, just leave it alone. Like because it was me confronting somebody, and I'm not even in this game, right? I'm just kind of walking around after my game, and I don't like it when it's something this crazy. So I told him after, and then I asked him, "Would you want me to stop the game?" He's like, "Yes, you should have stopped the game. I now knowing that, you should have stopped the game. I apologize about my attitude." So I'm like, "Yeah, thanks." And so I've decided, yeah. So if you see something that wrong, someone using a skill that wrong, then you should say something.
Well, that's what I do too. So like, for example, like anytime, so like I usually finish my games pretty quickly. So anytime I'm spectating, if I see something that like is going against the rules, I'll like be like, hey, like this happened, right? So for example, one of my friends is new to Rebecca, and he drew 2 cards for Sabo and didn't discard 2 cards. And I was like, hey, you gotta discard 2 cards. So like you should always, I mean, even if you're not in the game, you should butt in and be like, yo, like you have to follow the rules of the game. Like just do it in like a nice way, I guess. You know, like hey, you can't do this, or hey, you forgot to do that. So,
yeah.
Nothing like, dude, I can't believe you forgot it. Like, don't be a dick about it.
Don't be a dick about it. But the thing is, if the person doesn't listen to you, you kind of have to be, you know, especially if it's like a couple times. And you're like, hey, I don't want to be this guy, but I have to be this guy. That's what I did like the first time. But now it's like, sorry, I'm watching.
Well, I guess everyone at locals knows me, and like we're good friends. So like, they know I'm not trying to be like a know-it-all. I guess.
Right now, I have a different issue. It's about time. And I'm sure you play a deck that goes many turns with Blurple Croc. I play a deck that goes 15 turns with Queen, you know? And
you're the problem.
No. I play my turns really fast, right? That's not the issue. But the problem is
Queen, but
I have to tell my opponent, all right, it's been a minute. You need to make an action. I had to like look up with the official rules. I've never actually had to bring this up yet, but I know it's going to come up because I don't want my opponent to lose because I'm going to life them. I'm gonna outlife them. I don't want to win that way because Queen will win that battle. By the way,
you're gonna lose that battle because they're gonna have way more life than you.
If I up their life, but I don't normally do that. Especially if this is ever going to time, I'll probably have like 3 die costs. Okay, I'll put you down to 2 life. I'll be at 3 life. Like
that's fair.
They can't do anything about it. So I tell them you need to play a little faster here. Like it's So and I'm actually in the middle of this video. You can help me with the title of this, okay? At first I was gonna do the ticking time bomb of One Piece, but I think that's a bad like. I'm just talking about time, and it also has bomb in the title, so I'm like maybe that's not good for YouTube algorithm, okay? So I think the issue with time in One Piece, or the issue with time in card games, right? Because when I kind of YouTube this, I can't find anything about time or any content about like slow play or how to play faster. And most people that are probably looking that video up probably don't have a problem with time, actually. Because usually
what are you trying to make the video about? Like just like people being slow, or like what's the premise of it?
The premise, I think, of it is to talk about the issue of time in card games in One Piece. If you're a player that is playing maybe a slower deck, obviously you get to front load your things. It's maybe not educational, but I need to tell people what the rule is, especially for One Piece, because people don't. I had to find this. You have 1 minute until you have an action, and then you have to. You can tell your opponent you need to make an action or get people involved. You can obviously you don't have to tell them that. You can take 5 minutes, but I have the right to say, hey, you need to do something here because we need to make sure the game has a normal conclusion.
Especially when you're playing like slower decks like Queen and Rebecca.
And people don't know that to ask about that. So I think it's a big thing, and I want to make a section if you're a player that is dealing with facing players that are too slow, and then a section if you are a slow player, what to do in a way. And it's not like to attack someone who's like purposely slow playing. And maybe the people, and I'm sure most people, you might share this video with somebody, be like, hey man, I know you're having a hard time with this. I think it'd be a little bit funner if this happened. I don't want to be like a dick about it, but
you'd have to really make the video like funny for people to not to like low key take offense to that. I do is I always tell people like if there's a turn that requires a lot of thinking, like I'm posting a video tomorrow about me playing against Blurple Kaido, and my last turn I took like 5 minutes. We had plenty of time left, but my last turn there was so many different routes of play that I was like, hey, just like bear with me here. There's a lot of different routes of play here that I'm just trying to figure out. So like usually when you articulate like that, they're more than okay with it.
Yeah, there's a difference when there's 20 minutes left in the round. There's probably going to go be 4 more turns. Like, you know. But there's a difference when it's like 5 minutes left in the round and we're both at 2 life. So, And it's usually because they play too slow to begin with, and it's like almost my fault for not pushing my opponent to do something. But it makes it really hard because you don't. At a big tournament, yes, absolutely do that. Push your opponent to make an action. At a local tournament, it's very hard because you don't want to push away newer players or players are just a little slower, and you don't want to be like a dick because you want them to come back, right?
Well, I think it's a skill thing also, you know, like people that play really slow generally just like don't know how their deck is supposed to like win or play. So like I think it's just like if they are not familiar with their deck or not familiar with the game, they will take longer because they don't understand like they don't understand where they need to be and how to get there. And that's why it takes so long for them to play.
Yeah, you say that too, but then there is still players out there that have been playing this game since set 1. They're taking a very long time. Right.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess I just never ran into someone like that in my locals.
I think they're kind of rare. I don't understand. Yeah. I used to think like maybe they are just not very good at the game. Like, oh, those guys good at the game. He just takes way too long. And he's won games where he shouldn't have due to time. And I'm like, yeah, I'm no longer okay with this. I am
yeah, I'd be pretty upset too.
I am no longer okay with this. It's like in matches that were just like regular local matches. They were like shop tournaments, like store tournaments, where like he'd win a game because of time. And they're playing like fast deck too. And now they're going to switch to like a more slower deck format. I'm like, yeah, maybe we need to play a little bit quicker here.
That video definitely needs to come out then, especially. Yeah, I can understand like the first couple weeks people are reading their cards, like especially like Rebecca. Like Rebecca has a lot, like it's very hard to play. It has a lot of different routes. But if they're playing slow with like fucking Zorro, like, like something needs to be done.
I'm not kidding. Zorro, Whitebeard,
or even Whitebeard. Yeah. Whitebeard has like one play every turn. It's like play a beefy boy and attack.
And everyone knows you should learn how to play your deck like solitaire with it, so you know what it does, so you don't take so long, and then front load your turns. Like your first few turns, because there's really not going to be many options, right?
Yeah, maybe I should make a video about that. Like, just like, maybe that would be a good idea. Like, understanding like what your deck can do and like how to get there. I think that's like the big problem for a lot of people. But maybe your video will help with the people that like that are just generally just slow.
Feel free, by the way. You know, don't worry about it. I think it's a big topic that no one's ever really breached on, but. I ask this to judges all the time. What's the rule on this? What's the rule on that? And they're like, you just ask your opponent. I'm like, okay, well, what's the actual fucking rule on this? Like, they're gonna get a penalty, and it's just frustrating too. And there's not like
you never want to be that guy, you know.
I don't want to be, but I think I have to be.
In some cases you do, especially if you're playing Queen, you know, like a deck that automatically is supposed to go till turn 15. 12 at least, you know. 12 at the earliest.
Yeah, I guess so. But the thing is too, like, if I play Queen and I played slow, then that's just fucking like the worst. Like that'd be like,
bro, I'd call a judge in the first 5 minutes, bro. If you're on turn, like if you're on 3 dawn and then you take a minute and a half to play fucking Doflamingo, I'm like, all right, bro. Well, I'm gonna have the judge on standby.
Yeah. Pro tip too: if you have any of these searcher cards, just wait until like your 6 or plus dawn turn to play them, unless you have nothing else to play. Because I like to wait till later so I can stack my deck, right?
Oh
but the thing is, there's so many Brulees and Boas you can play there. The deck's so good. I love it.
I think Queen's good. Yeah, I think Queen's really good. I think it's actually one of its best matchup is into yellow, actually, which is funny.
I think there's a really silly thing too, is actually the mirror is really funny. There's actually a way to play the mirror that I've been looking into, but
it's a miserable mirror, bro.
I haven't completely dropped Blue Doflamingo, by the way, guys. But for the time being, it does have a hard matchups into these, like, it's the most mid-range deck, so it loses to the most long-range decks that have defensive capabilities, which is great.
I think Croc is also better.
Yeah.
I think Croc is also better than Dofi this set.
Yeah, I think it depends on the matchup. If everybody's yellow, I think Blue Dofi is good. I think Blue Dofi is super good. Maybe. Yeah, I think so. Oh, it worked for me before.
The vanilla, dude, like the vanilla's just like with the yellow vanillas, it makes the deck just so much better, bro. Like, because they will just run over every card that you put out pretty much. So like you have to like build a board really quickly before they can.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know if you knew my previous. I think I told you about my previous strategy, right? I would be able to build a board, and now since they're playing bigger cards, I could just remove those cards with the same 3,000 worlds or my 6 drops, right? And still build board because I still have Dawn left over to build board.
Yeah.
and just take damage. I had some interesting games. I don't know if you watched my like 45-minute Pasadena vlog, but I had this match.
I think I've seen every video you've had.
Okay, I had this match where it was against a yellow mom. This is like a side event, and I went down to 0 life on their 7 Dawn turn. Because I took every hit and they played 2 soul focuses out of hand. So, and I won that game. I won. like it wasn't like I would say it wasn't. It was kind of close, but not really. He didn't build board.
You just had like a bunch of blockers, and she just kept walling off.
I had the 2 blockers at all times, and he had no field. He had no way to do a field, and. Yeah, it was, and I just went wide and then eventually sucked him out. But I also threw a game that day. That was a fun day, by the way, Pasadena. Yeah. So hopefully you'll be able to go.
I've never been to California. Yeah, I'd love to. We'll see how it goes.
I don't know if there's still room in the one for November, but
I mean, I'm okay with just. I'm actually really wanting to do some of the online treasure cups. So I'm hoping to do that. Even though I don't like online, it is like just the easiest one to get into.
Let's talk about that right now, by the way. Online webcam. You're not a fan of it. Go ahead.
No. Oh yeah, and people cheat. Cheating is very bad. Not everyone's a cheater, obviously, but people do cheat. It's really hard to like, for me personally, like visual. Like something about like seeing it on a screen, it's hard for me to like visualize what's going on, and then like I can't like just like see their trash when I ask to look at their trash, they have to go like super slow, and I don't know, it's just like it's not, I don't know, man, it's just the feeling I get playing it.
How often do you look through your opponent's trash, by the way?
I mean, when it matters, right? Like
yeah. So like 1 in every 10 games?
No, I probably look at it like two times a game, honestly.
Oh, really?
Because like when you're going for like when they've been through 6 2Ks, and like when you feel like they've been through a lot of 2Ks and you're trying to like deal with their board or like go for game, you're like, okay, what are the odds? Like, okay, this deck plays anywhere from like 10 to 12 2Ks. You already had 6. What are the odds your last 2 life cards are 2K? Like, you gotta do like that type of math right there.
When games are that close, I can see that. I haven't asked to look through my opponent's trash in a long time, other than oh, I forgot what I KO'd earlier. Do they have another Zora? Like,
well, yeah, that's what it is.
I bottom deck cards, so I can't look at the bottom of their deck. So can I look at the bottom of your deck?
Yeah, so like not all the time, but like when you're just dealing with like random situations, it really is helpful to see. Okay, they've had 2 brulees.
My question: how often do you do like a casual webcam game? Like it's not like a tournament.
Never.
One. We should do that sometime. That will get you into it. Listen, I want to dispel one myth. Yeah, people do cheat. However, obviously, if you're recording, and I think you're a recording kind of person, there is like 1% chance they do it and 0% chance they get away with it. Right? So
that's fair.
Because
by the time we catch it, they already got the game though.
Yeah, but you could catch it like a game later, and especially if you're. Even I think you're the person who maybe live streams it too. You have people that watch you. I
actually can't live stream it because I do YouTube, and I don't think YouTube has like a non-commenting thing like Twitch does. So like I stream on YouTube, and like when you stream on Twitch, when you're doing these tournaments, you have to have like your comment section on like emoji only or something like that.
That's not it at all. It's actually just they don't have a rule. They have a rule against it that you cannot look at chat, but it's basically an honor system. Right.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't have my chat up at all, but I'll tell you, my friend, he did that. He actually had his chat up. He was reading chat, talking with them. He would tell them everything that's going on. He didn't know that was a rule. And honestly, no one gave him advice because everyone knows that's kind of stupid to give advice to that. But the thing is, are you going to take advice from your chat in the middle of a tournament? No. Of course not.
Fuck no.
Like, is it going to help you?
With respect, there's people that have won like treasure cups that like are in my Discord and like watch my videos. Yeah. But like with respect, like I'm a man of like I consider myself a high character like person. I'm driven by like ideals, and I wouldn't like cheating is like not something I would do.
I'm not saying you're cheating. Let's say this was allowed, right? You're still not going to do it. Because like this was allowed and it was okay for open knowledge. Let's say this is allowed. You're not going to do it because the person backseat gaming you, they don't have the whole context of the game and your hand, right?
Yeah.
And from what you know. And so even if you did do that, so generally, what I do is I just minimize chat. I don't look at chat the whole game. If something important
Gotcha.
comes up, like something did happen one time, someone PM'd me 10 times. And I know when someone does that, there's probably something wrong. Whitebeard forgot to take a life. So I just I just looked at that. We reverse engineered it. Whitebeard took a life. That's all that happened.
Okay.
And we could have just called a judge. But the thing is that it's important to do things like that too. Make sure the game's at the normal state it should be.
Yeah, I definitely will stream then the next time I do an online one.
Stream and record it. I mean, you just stream it if it's recording it anyway on YouTube. So
yeah,
and you just ask your opponent, hey, is it okay if I stream this game? Where are you from, man? Oh, it's really nice to meet you. 1% chance they cheat, 0% chance they get away with it. Right? That's the thing. So I want to say that's gone. Right? As far as that, plus the incentive isn't. I mean, the incentive's always high. I guess. 2. You're right. It's just more way to play. I get that disconnect. You don't have that same connection with your opponent, right? It's almost you're literally just playing with yourself with someone on the other end, right? You're just kind of using your imagination. But that just, again, you're right. It just takes some practice of playing against webcam against somebody.
And I told you the website that we're going to be making coming out in a few months. We will have like webcam tournaments on there. With really good pricing and whatnot.
Do you need help with the setup of how to do, like, I'm not saying hand cams, but like show both players' perspective, or not their perspective, their fields, and setting up OBS? And
we can talk about that. We can talk about that
Sim
whenever it gets
You can do that
closer.
with Sim too, if that's something you wanted to do. You can watch both players' hands. It requires a very specific setup though, which is doable. That's why I did that one thing with you today, and I'll send you that because you're gonna be like, that's actually kind of gas when you can see.
I don't really do a whole lot of sim content, but if I ever do, then I'd love to check that out too. That'd be super dope.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
I got sim recently. I thought about doing sim content too, but I have to like play against a certain person. I can't just play against randoms, right?
Yeah, I just think that like I like to. So obviously I like to inform people about the game, but overall I like entertaining. You know, like I want to make good videos that are high quality for you guys to watch, and I just don't think sim content is like the highest of quality. I try to just do online or do offline stuff.
And number one, you're right, the priority should be what's fun for you, right? Because if it's fun for you, you'll be wanting to do it more. And
what's fun for you guys, actually. I care what's more fun for my viewers than what is more fun for me.
Yeah. Well, if it's unfun for you, we'll feel that, and it's probably not going to be that fun for us. Right?
Well, I don't like make videos that aren't fun. You know what I'm saying? But like, if something is like, for example, like the simulator is not like, a lot of people would prefer to watch real life matches, and I would too. So I do real life matches. But if more people preferred to watch sim content, then I would do that instead. You know,
we could fuck around with it a little bit. I'll show you what I did for what the game we just did, just to show hands, because I think your viewers would like that a lot. Doesn't matter. That would be cool. Deck. So you can do that with anybody. That's the beautiful thing about it.
Just show the match that I won, please.
Show the match you won. Yeah. Oh, he made dude.
Not the first one, bro. Not the first one.
Yeah. We've been going pretty long in this podcast. Is there anything you wanted to talk about? We talked about the ban list. Should 10 drop be banned? I don't know if that's gonna happen.
I could see it getting restricted.
I could see getting restricted. I think it's maybe a cringe restriction though. So if that gets restricted, I think Whitebeard needs to get banned, like the leader itself. So
why not both?
It'd have to be a double whammy.
Why not both?
And then Law will come back and I'll complain about that. So we're fine.
Yeah, just make. I mean, I think so. I made a video about this already, but I think the perfect scenario, if we're talking about like in this meta right now, I think you errata to make Law's effect costs 3 Dawn. I think you restrict Big Mom to either 1 or 2, and then you ban Whitebeard. I think that is the perfect scenario right now for me, at least. I mean, I could be wrong. I haven't thought about it a whole lot, but I prefer that.
Really nice. Is there anything else that's people are going to come up with other ideas? Oh, they need to do this, do that. Is there anything else out there that's so overwhelming, or like people always talk about like Otama? Don't ban Otama anymore, by the way. 9-cost Mihawk.
I could see Red Rock getting limited, bro. I think Red Rock is insane.
That is kind of.
I think Red Rock is so good.
Okay, I could see Red Rock definitely getting limited. So
Yeah.
that would be kind of frustrating. Like I only play 2 of them. I
Yeah.
can only play 2 of them.
Yeah, I think like just being able to literally bottom deck anything is just so good.
Yeah, or you have to restrict. You can't play that in another card. Oh, what would that even do?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things they can do. I think the game right now, at least from the week that I've been playing set 4, is the healthiest it's ever been.
Mhm.
So I'm excited for it. Let's hope that something other than the big 3 win the regional today. I would be ecstatic. I'm rooting, dude. I don't care if it's Dofi. I don't care if it's Rebecca, Queen, Croc. Just something that isn't red.
I do think
Actually, I'll take a VV too.
In this scenario, most of the time, if your deck is X2 and it's not one of the big 3, then that is a good. That's like a great showing. That's like the best thing. Like I think in Pasadena, top 16, there's only one deck that wasn't the top 3, and it was Kid. It was playing Wall Kid. I got 17th.
I got Strongest Wizard.
Yeah, and I got 17th playing Doflamingo.
That's so lame, bro.
It's so okay. Lame. I'm fine. It was just funny.
Yeah.
The worst thing is that guy faced the law. He won the game, but he got 10th, so he didn't even get like a serial Luffy.
It sucks.
But he said he drew. He drew so well. Like there was like that's the best game I ever drew in my life against you. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like when you play a Bonnie on turn 1, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty strong.
Yeah. That sucks, man.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about as far as One Piece, set 4, set 5, any content you're looking at possibly driving with?
Yeah, real quick. There is a case tournament going on in my locals, Jacksonville, Florida. If any of your viewers are in Florida and are somewhat driving distance, case tournament, really fun, set 4. We're doing a couple raffles there. It's October 7th. I have all that info on my Discord. It's gonna be super fun. We're gonna possibly stream it too. And I'll probably make like a vlog video about it. It's gonna be really fun, guys. I think all the decks that have come out and the support that we have for the new set it's gonna make the format very healthy. So if you're considering playing set 4 because you've quit the last like couple sets, I would definitely come back. You know, if you're wondering if you should come back or not, I think this is going to be the most fun format we've had in a long time.
Great, yeah. I feel like
maybe ever.
Everyone's been waiting for this format since set 3 came out. It's just set 3 was really popular because it was the beginning of summer, right? So yeah. All right, sweet. Thank you all for watching this episode of KEKCast. See you in the next one. Ciao.